Hello and welcome back to Bull Bear Trader. Tomorrow we have a lot of big company will report earning, and within them we have one of the biggest, which is NVIDIA. So I will go through I think 18 of them. So I'm just going through as quick as possible, and so don't waste anybody time. First, I'm going to go with Royal Bank of Canada, ROY. Short term overbought, long term is also overbought. Let's quickly draw the current trend. Okay, all right, so you can see it is overbought and right at the resistance, so most likely I would say 65% we may have a pullback. I would say it can go as low as 130. All right, if the earning does not meet the expectation, about 35%, it might come up to probably 145. So we got 1 in 3 chance, 145, and 2/3 of the chance. I mean, 2 out of 3 chance, we got 130. All right, next we got Smucker. We can see here, over here, last time earning, it dropped from 110. It dropped to 94, and guess what happened? It came back right at the same level. Right now it's overbought. So if I see, looks like we might have another the pullback. So you can see it was going along the trend line channel and then broke below. If the number not that good, we may see 105, and it's about gonna be about 65%. Okay, if the number coming much better than expected, we may see 118 at about 35%, which is still a good odd. But I anticipate a pullback. All right. Next we have DCI. Never heard of this company. Short term and long term overbought. So I expect a pullback. And if you look, today we got a reversal candle. So most likely I would say 60, 70, 75%, sorry, 65 to 70%. We'll have a pullback to here at 72. Okay. Otherwise, if the number coming really good, we might see 78 at about 35%, 30 to 35. So 70% pullback, 30% bounce. Abercrombie and Fitch. So you can see last time is report earning, it rally a lot and then the same day pull back. After that, it came back to the same level and then rally up to the same level at this candle, same height, and then pull back. So in a way, we have this as the resistance. All right. So short term is a little bit over, so long term is overbought. So more likely of a pullback this time. And it might go back to 75 at about 60%, 40%. It might break this resistance here and might come up to 121, 122 actually. At about 35, 40%. So still a good odds, but more of a pullback is anticipated. But you never know. You just never know. Foot Locker. It overbought short and long term. However, it came down a lot. Down all the way to $11. And then it got a big jump, almost more than double. And then was trading a little bit higher. So if I look at the I would say a little bit long term, I can see that it basically broke out of this trend line. However, most likely we'll see if it come back to test it. Now I'm going to zoom in a little bit more. All right. So we can see here we got the support here. Okay. And then we got another level right here at $20.50 or even $20.25. So let's say 20. All right. So here's the thing. Because it's been overbought, it needs to be better than neutral. Otherwise, it will go back down to $20.50. At about 60% to 65%. If the number actually better than expectation, we might see it close this gap and rise up to $33 at about 35 to 40%, which is still a good odd. Since it's already went up 130%, something like that. All right, now the biggest stock that everybody is waiting. So what is this red line up here? You can see it went down from here mid 24, right? So about a year ago. Let me see. Well, okay. So in a way, that trend is still intact. Go all the way from here, 2022, all right, to here, and you see it basically touched that line. Okay. Now, what you see is it was you can see how many days is trying to break above that level at 180.84. All right, but it could not. And when I was here about 2-3 weeks back, when I review it, and then say, okay, most likely we'll have a pullback to 164. Well, it pulled back to 169, and then rally and tag this line again. You can see my prediction is go like this, right? So now, most likely I expect a pullback. Because if you switch to weekly, is long term is really overbought. All right, so if it come down, it most likely will lower than this low at around right here at 165. All right, so I put 165. This will be around, I would say at least 60% to 65%. Because right now is really high. Expectation is actually much more than when it was down here. All right, as about 130 something. And then the last before that was about 113. All right, so now if we look at the stock, most likely it's gonna hit right here at this candle, and even right here 164 at the bottom of this the candle here, the wick. So we have 165 at about 60 to 65%. However, 35% if the number coming really good, which may be like Meta or what was it? Microsoft, it will rally. And I think it might go to 200 if that happened. Okay, so it's going to be a big day after hours tomorrow. We will have to see. But more chance of a pullback. Next, we have CrowdStrike. All right, CrowdStrike. Last time when it was here, I anticipated it's going to pull back to 430. Well, it did not really. It went down to 445. Rally up and then pull back. So right now it's actually oversold, both long and short term. Okay, so now if I look at this, is still the trend right here. This is for I would say mid-range, mid-term. It is still within the channel. However, for the short term, it is already trending down for the past almost 2 months. All right, so now if we look at the past week, let's say the past 4 trading day, we can see that the momentum and everything is still pretty weak still. And if we look at like this, it looked like it had a small bear flag. So I think it could have a soul, but it got a bear flag. I think this will be a tricky one. 385 is still the level of a pullback, or I would say breakdown. Right? All right, at about, I would say 50%. Because of oversold, I would say more chance of a bounce, but because of bear flag and top of the channel, so it's now become 50-50. All right, so 385 and 455. No, 456 will be the top of the range. All right, wow, we still have a lot to go through. All right, next, no flex. We can see it has a bear flag here as well. And it's almost did a U-turn here. Now, if I look at the current short-term trend, if I use this and this, it, okay, come on. Okay, so that's the short-term trend. Still within the channel, short-term and long-term turning to oversold. So there are bigger chance of a bounce. And you can see here is right at the support level. So let's zoom in. All right, so I would say we have about 60% of the bounce to 206. And for a pullback, we're going to close this gap here or even here at 180. At about 40%. Okay, so bear flag, so I think it come down more, but a little bit more chance of a bounce. VEEV, overbought long and short term. It's been moved sideways for about almost 3 months now. So for the trend, look like we might have a pullback here. It might go as low as 243. About 60%, 65%. However, it might go up to 315 at about 40%. Okay. Most likely a pullback. And I don't see anything. Okay. Actually, it might can go up even more, but 315 is a good level. Trip.com, short-term and long-term, both overbought. However, it's been moving downward and sideways. Short-term kind of like this. So more of a pullback at about 60%, 40% of a bounce to 73. So about 40%, 60% of pullback down to here, 55. Okay, I think that's it. Prudential. Never looked at this one before. Short-term and long-term overbought. In a way, it got a bull flag right here. But there's still more of a pullback here to 22 at about 60 to 65%. Okay, a pullback, I mean, a bounce will be to I would say about $30. But only at about 35%. So more chance of a pullback. Agilent. Just like other health sector, is being beat up a lot, and you can see it's barely moved from the low in April until now, and since June, so about 2 months, been moving sideways. Short term, we got this. So it might pull back at about 55%. Why 55? Because it's still low compared to other sector. So if the number coming not as good, it won't pull back that much. And if not, we might see, I would say about 141. Okay, 141 at about I would say 60%, 55 to 60%. All right, next is HPQ, Hewlett Packard. Yes, not doing as well either. Let me take a look. So it look like it's broke out from the trend resistance. So most likely it will come back and test it. A chance of a bounce to 29 or even 33. Yeah, 33 actually a good level when the number coming really good, and this will happen at about 60%, 40% of a pullback to roughly about 23.50. So I still expect a bounce, but you never know. If the number coming really bad and outlook is negative, then it will fall. All right, NetApp. Looks like it's overbought short term and long term. But we have a gap here at 118. So if the number coming good, we might see 118 at only about 30%. If the number is not that great, 94 at about 60% to 65%. Okay, let me draw. So for the short-term trend, look like it just hit the resistance. So yeah, more chance of a pullback. Pure storage, PSTG, never heard of this one before. Short-term and long-term overbought. It's been moving sideways since June or maybe early July. So yeah, I also suspect a pullback. If you look and we draw a trend line, okay, so you can see this candle here, it was bearish signal, and then boom, it went down. But it touched here and then it bounced, pull back here, bounce. Well, naturally, I expect a pullback as well to 56 at about 55% to 60%. However, if number coming really good at about 45% to 40 to 45, we might see it come up all the way up to 65. So yeah, pretty standard. Sideways, so it is hard to predict. 3 more to go. NTNX was so short and long term, but it kind of have a bear flag right here. Right? So even though it's oversold, there's still chance of a pullback to about 63 at about 35%. So 1 in 3. The other, if the number coming much better, we might see it come up to right here, 78 at about 60 to 65%. Okay. If I switch to longer term, this looked like a bear flag, so it went down. So that's about right. A little bit more chance of bounce, but we still have chance of it going lower to 63, and then maybe it will very bottom out at 56. Never know this stock, so from what I'm seeing, a little bit more chance of a bounce. About 60% of bounce and 40% of a pullback. The Cooper, you can see it didn't really do much but went sideways. And if I draw and go all the way here, look at this. Okay, so it's been down a lot, even though short term is a little bit overbought, but you can see it's over so long term. And if we look back about 3 to 5 years, actually at the bottom range. So more of a bounce. And if it does, it can go up to 84 at about 65%. A pullback, let me see, down to 62, 63, about 35%. So, we still have to keep an eye on this. This might keep going down. Doesn't mean it's low and it won't go down. You see United Health and other stuff like Centene, yeah, NVO, it went down a lot. Buy below. Short term and long term looks overbought, and it's the last one, guys. In a way, it's kind of topping right here. If I draw a line over here, in a way, you can see it actually touched this and this as well. So it might come down more. And because overbought as well. So 65%, you're going to come down. Where I would say 121, 122. At about 60%. But 35%, it can come up to 166. Because you never know. A store like this or like Dollar General now with the economy, it's not doing well and layoff keep happening every day. People try to spend less and maybe they will go to Five Below and look for deals. So anyway, wow, that was a lot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 18. That we went over. All right. Thanks so much for hanging out with me. Please hit a like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.